Hey guys, it's Optimus Prime. I am back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about superheroes and their foundations. The reason why I want to talk about this has to do with the fact that pretty much the heroes that we have and we've known and loved for so many years and so many decades now at this point, really should be looked at from a different perspective than what a lot of people in modern media have been looking at these characters as. And I hope I can bring something to the table with that. So sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Okay, so the reason where I got this idea for this video today happens to come from a video of another YouTuber that I am friends with. Common and Cam talked about Optimus Prime. You guys know I'm a Transformers guy, clearly from my wall. And, you know, he talked about how Optimus Prime acted like a villain in the live action films, in Michael Bay's films. And this is something that as I watched his video, I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I've been thinking every single time I look at the character of Optimus Prime in the live action films. I kind of look at him as he's almost like this villain, and being a badass villain or being a badass hero kind of takes away sometimes of the what that character is and who he is and what he's supposed to represent. And it isn't just Optimus Prime. And that's really why I'm making this video, and why I'm wearing a Superman shirt, is because to me, heroes like Superman, heroes like Captain America, heroes like Optimus Prime, I would even venture to say characters like Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy are supposed to be, have a foundation, a non-changing foundation that makes that character who they are. And the world around them can change, and things around them can change, and then yes, they can grow within that universe, but the basis behind that character should not. And where I draw that from, first of all, let's talk about Superman. Superman is the original superhero. You look at Superman, people look at him as, oh, he's the Boy Scout. He's the guy that, he never changes. He's always goody two-shoes. And, he never ever does the wrong thing. And what if he did? What if he did actually do the wrong thing? What if he killed somebody, with no remorse? And what if he just, pulled the trigger without thinking twice? And that is something that these heroes really, okay, that would be an interesting story to tell, but these characters don't really change, and that is not a bad thing. Looking at the characters as never changing, but the world around them changes, isn't bad. And Superman was created by Siegel and Schuster. They were two Jewish guys. They were looking at the idea behind the Superman, around the time of the character's creation. And his whole creation of his character kind of brings the idea of the Jewish Messiah, which to Christians believe is Jesus. And so they were looking at Superman as like this type of character. So he's coming into a fallen world, and he himself is morally good. Everything he does is the right thing, and he's trying to fit into this world, which is our world, and trying to do the right thing within our world. And how he lives and how he interacts and what he does to try and do the right thing is exactly what the character should be. And the world around us changes. Politics change. Who is in charge changes. But the character himself should not. He should never give up his morals, his ethics, what makes him true to whom he is, without removing without removing those. If you remove any of those elements, then what you end up with is either a boring character, or you end up with someone who's just badass and will just kill everybody on sight. And that really angers a lot of people if someone is willing to go off and do that. And you get characters like that. There are, superheroes out superheroes have pretty much grown from the whole idea of Superman, which kind of has its basis not only in Judeo-Christian values, but also has its values and, you know, its ideas in, you know, Greek mythology, and this Hercules guy who's, you know, super strong and super mighty and super powerful. And we look at the, you know, the ideal man or the ideal woman. So you get someone like a character like Wonder Woman, and it's the same thing. But Superman doesn't change because the world around him changes. He stays the same because then the world around him that is ever changing and is dark and twisted and wrong could look to Superman and say, I want to try to be more like him. I want to look up to that guy. I'm inspired by this guy, and I want to rise up and be more than, you know, what I am as a person. So you look at other characters like Captain America, and carrying the ideal, okay, the American flag, and of course Superman had the truth, justice, and the American way, and Captain America was out there fighting the war, World War II, which was, you know, here we were fighting, you know, evil dictators and invading forces and trying to do what we could to stop, you know, evil in its tracks. And Captain America carried those ideals. And the interesting thing about his character is that he's frozen, and then he awakes in the present, which in the movies, it's even better because he's frozen from World War II times, and now he's woken up in, you know, the, you know, late 2000s or, you know, 2010s. And at least as far as the, you know, the movies are concerned, the comics, of course, it was the 1960s that he woke up, and he wakes up in the present day, and the world around him has changed. He's a fish out of water, but he never changes his ideals. He always remains consistent and constant, and you're always reminded about why this character is so good, and you want to be more like this character. And he looks at himself and says, should I bend to, you know, the knee, so to speak, and you know, do what the world wants me to do instead of being what the world truly needs, and that is a hero? And that is a conflict that goes on with Captain America, a conflict that happens in the movies, of course, where he has to fight with himself whether or not he needs to tell Tony Stark, you know, the truth about his friend who has done pretty dastardly things, not under his own control, but still, you know, he's caught between that, you know, am I doing the right thing? Am I truly trying to do the right thing, or is the right thing what the world tells me it is? And then you have a character like Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime, when he first starts off, you know, as far as the G1 character, the G1 character of Optimus Prime is, he doesn't kill in cold blood at all. He doesn't go off and do these things that are wrong and evil, and pretty much he's remained consistent in the cartoons and the comic books, at least for the most part, you know, with the exception of some of the more modern stuff. The movies and the IDW comics have taken the character into a different realm where they're willing to do something that we would look at as morally, morally bankrupt. You know, something like Optimus killing Galvatron in cold blood, you know, in the IDW comics, or, you know, Optimus killing Sentinel Prime in Dark of the Moon, and then just without a second thought, all of a sudden removing Megatron's head, like just decapitating him like it's nothing, and then, you know, give me your face, you know, to the Fallen, and, you know, just tearing apart Grindor, and then, you know, killing Kelsey Grammer's character. Those are things that are not the character of Optimus Prime. Or when he says, we'll kill them all, and I'm like, oh gosh, like these characters are not supposed to be like that. You know, they're not, they may grow as characters over time, but their foundation should remain the same. We should want to be those characters. You know, granted, I can relate to a character, let's say like Rodimus Prime. You know, a character like Rodimus Prime who has to fill in the shoes of Optimus. He knows he's not perfect, but he looks at Optimus as he was perfect. And you're filling in that role now. How can you try and be like that character? You don't know if you have what it takes to be that character. No, you need to learn how to grow in yourself, and that's why I love that character. But that character is not Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is that grounded foundation. Rodimus Prime is, I know I can never be him. I need to be myself, but I need to look to him as to what would be the right thing to do. And you take a look at other characters like Luke Skywalker. And Luke Skywalker is another character that I truly, looked up to as far as a hero was concerned. He wasn't perfect. He knows he wasn't perfect. He was a scrappy kid who grew up from nothing in a desert planet, and all of a sudden he's whisked away, and he's still learning from the smuggler who ends up turning into a hero. He learns from the old hermit who ends up being a Jedi Master, and even in death he's able to help Luke and guide Luke to do what he needs to do. He ends up getting trained from Yoda, and he learns from his mistakes. His mistake, ended up costing him his hand. And by the end of Return of the Jedi, he's like, no, I know what I am, and I know who I'm supposed to be, and this is exactly where I am supposed to be as the hero. I am a Jedi like my father before me. The ending to the Return of the Jedi is so good in that redemption of Darth Vader. At the same time, it's Luke realizing I have become what I am supposed to be. And whereas the sequel trilogy just doesn't get it, because the sequel trilogy doesn't quite understand the character of Luke Skywalker. They wanted the Luke Skywalker from A New Hope and not the Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. And that is something where I feel like the character went backwards in time. And these characters that we know and we love and we've grown up with, especially those of us either in the 80s, some people have grown up in the 60s and the 70s with these heroes. We look at the characters like they're not supposed to change. They're not supposed to be altered. We're supposed to look at them as a foundation. They're not supposed to be the foundation. We're not supposed to just get our morals from those superheroes, but those superheroes should have the foundation that makes them keep going, and we should look to them as inspiration for us to keep going. And if you change that about that hero, you remove that hero from being the hero. But I don't know what you guys think. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this talk, because, it's something that has been bothering me for a while when it comes down to current media. And just I think that superheroes need to have their foundation and remain constant even as the world changes, so that we have foundational heroes. But again, what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I got more content coming down the way, including more Godzilla reviews and quite a bit more stuff coming soon as well. So as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.